I turned Buzz into my own personal assistant. Here's a question. What's the difference between the pros and people who regularly just use AI? My answer is that's not a prompt, it's not a tool, it's not anything like that. What it actually is a framework. And this is the same framework that I've noticed everybody around me using. I'm talking agency owners, people who are big in the info space. And I call it the forward motion framework. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use that to create your own personal assistant that runs 24/7. If you don't know me, my name's Taha, and me and my business partner Mark, we run Prompt Advisors, where we help enterprise companies build solutions. And we also have one of the largest AI communities on School with over 1,400 people learning AI from us every single day. And I say that as context as to where we're getting this information from. Now let's speak about the forward motion framework. The reality is currently, most people are using AI the exact same way. You open a new window, you type in a prompt, you get a response. The second you close that window, you have to start back over again once you open the window. That's what we're here to change. Forward motion is about taking steps every single time you interact with an agent, instead of having to turn in circles every time you open a brand new window, where each conversation actually teaches the agent about yourself, about your business, about your customers. And the easiest example of this is creating an assistant that can remove a lot of that morning fog to help you identify exactly what you need to work on. So let's get to Buzz and I'll show you how to build one. Now, if you haven't heard about Buzz, I've made a few videos on it, so feel free to check those out. The way that I look at it is a combination between Slack and AI agents, where you essentially get put into groups with any agents that you want to create. You can also invent your own teammates like real people, but what I mostly use it for is to have separate channels where I can interact with different agents that are specialized in a specific task. In this instance, once you open up Buzz, and if you want to download it for the first time, all you have to do is go to buzz.xyz and you're going to see a download button. By the way, this was created by the guy who made Twitter, Jack Dorsey. It's completely open source. It's free for now. And so there's not really much of a downside to installing it. And I want to emphasize something because a lot of people get this wrong. This is not new technology. As in, having the ability to interact with agents and having agents be able to speak to each other has been possible for quite a while. The reason why I use Buzz is because it's the most intuitive version of that I've found so far. Once you download it, it literally looks like Slack. For example, I can see my different channels here: content instruction writing, content research, ideation, thumbnail generation, travel planning, etc. All of these are different channels that I can then go into and I can talk to them, and it's almost, think of it like you have folders for your cloud setup. Same exact concept. This is just a lot easier for me to use. Let me go back to welcome. And the most important piece here that we want to do is we want to have an agent whose entire job is to tell us what to focus on during that day, what emails I've missed, what meetings I've got coming up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new agent, and agents are essentially specialized prompts that you can adapt and you can tag them in channels and they will respond to you. What's cool about Buzz is you can actually have multiple agents talk to each other to come up with a solution at the end. I'm going to click in here, go to agents, and then I'm going to create a new agent. I'm going to call this executive assistant. And then I'm just going to tell it, you are my executive assistant, you are connected to my calendar, and you are connected to my inbox. And your role is to take a look at any emails that I have to respond to that I haven't responded to yet, as well as any meetings that I've got coming up, and if I should prepare anything for those meetings. And then I press on create agent. And now all I've got to do is go and talk to the agent I just created, which in this case was executive assistant. And now if I go to DM it, now I haven't connected this yet. What meetings do I have coming up today? I'm going to tag it to make sure it sees it. At the bottom, it says it's executing commands. And very likely it'll tell me I have no idea whether I'm not connected to your emails in any way. Now it says here, Google Calendar shows connected, but it's an MCP server requiring authorization. That's because I haven't connected my cloud instance to my Google Calendar, which is what I use. To fix that, all I have to do is go in here. I'm going to open up a new cloud session, and I'm then going to search up for connectors. So into settings, look for connectors, and then I'm going to look for Google Calendar. So I'm going to browse connectors. I see Google Calendar right here, which is what I use. Now, once I press connect, it would open up a brand new tab. It's going to ask me to connect to my Google Calendar. I'll press continue. I'll press yes, see all. And now that's connected. It'll open up back up in Claude. And now I should say right here, Google Calendar connected. So if I go back into, I'm going to restart this agent just to make sure it's the right way. And then I'm going to say exact same sentence. Beautiful. Now we have our meetings right in front of us. Now what's cool about this is I can keep connecting more and more things. Now let's go to stage 2 of this, which is, well, I had to ask for this. What if I wanted it every single day? All I've got to do is message my executive assistant and say, I want you to create a recurring task that happens every single morning at 5 a.m. that does the same thing. Now you can see it's thinking. And this is really the cool part about having this forward motion framework is the entire idea is you take steps forward and you don't have to look back afterwards. As in, you set up an automation that actually is automated. Having the ability to search your calendar is cool, but that's essentially the same as having to go to your Google Calendar. What's really helpful is for you to go instead of for this automation to go from passive to active. You will get an email or you will get a message in my Buzz saying, hey, by the way, here's your meetings coming up today. Here's what you need to respond to in the next 6 hours. And after a brief back and forth with the executive assistant, I ended up essentially creating an alarm system to tag the executive assistant to run at 5 a.m. And all you have to do, by the way, for that to work is just type in here, I want you to create, let's say you're talking to your assistant or any agent in general. Agents can actually create other agents. So just write, I want you to create X agent for this task. And if the window pop up saying create agent, press create, and it'll then create whatever agent you need. But just like that, I now have an assistant that runs at 5 a.m. with my calendar, and I can also connect my Gmail to it if I want, and any other connection that I might want on autopilot within Buzz, which is the most important piece. Now you can also do this with Claude routines. I just like to use Buzz, and I don't want to keep switching between Claude and Buzz and Slack and all the different software. So I'm trying to bring everything in-house, and hopefully that sheds some light on how you can start creating automatic tasks so you can start using that forward motion framework. I've got a lot more videos about different use cases using the same framework. If you have any questions, let them know. Otherwise, the next video is actually about how to take messy data and transform it into beautiful dashboards. So I'll see you there. So subscribe to make sure you don't miss that one.